Hello, 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 hello to my people. The most beautiful people in the entire diaspora. The residents and citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is your favorite and most hated son, the diaspora machismo, Allan Herman Fitzgerald Palmer. Bottom tongue man himself. Coming to you. Today, most people, we're going to talk about how Ralph Gonsalves and his ministers are lying to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines where it concerns COVID-19 death. It's a shame. And I'm going to bring something to your attention. I am going to bring something to your attention that you may have overlooked in the last press conference, right? And I want someone, I'm not going to call her name now, because I called her name in my last video, last week. When I did last week, Thursday, I called her name. I'm not calling her name, but I want to play something for you. If you recognize her voice, the senior nursing officer for the community, I wanted to tell her to please take some time and work on her oral presentation, her accent, her diction, her subject-verb agreement, her pronunciation of words, everything. She need a lot of work. I'm going to play something from her so that you can, if you are friends with her, or if you know someone who is friends with her, show her so that she can work on these things. I see the girl is trying very hard, right? But one thing I could tell you about Vincent, we always like to put our best foot forward, not in practice, but when we are actually involved in the event. I did that as a youth. I used to go on sports day. I want to run all the events without practicing, without one day practicing, and expect to win. You understand? So if you know this young lady, tell her that Allan Palmer, please, in order for her to be a good ambassador, she need to work on her oral presentation, and she have a lot of work to do. You understand? I heard that she even went to university. Well, I can bet her fellow students may have been talking bad about her behind her back, because I know what our people give. I know what people gives. You understand? People will find anything at all to make an issue about you in your absence, but pretend that everything is okay in your presence. That is why I want to play this thing for you. Not to shame this young lady, but so that she can know, Betty Clark, how you doing? So she can know that she really has some work to do. Not to shame her, but so that this young lady could know that she has some work to do. So I'm going to play this thing here, right? And listen to it. So in this fact, the honorable, listen to her diction. The honorable St. Clair Dreamy Prince, Minister of Health. The process for administering this vaccine is very simple. The process honorable, simple.
Is very simple. The process for administering this vaccine is very simple. There is a Google form there. There is a
Google form. Hello,
there
holy love.
is a Google form there. There is a Google form there. Filling out and submitting this Google window is letting the nation, our people, go through a window is letting the nation, our people, go through a vacation. You can get an adverse reaction.
So, if you know that lady who holds a post of senior nursing, I'm not calling her name, and I'm not gonna post it on Facebook or YouTube either, because it's embarrassing not only to her, and it is not my intention to embarrass this lady, right? It is my intention to try to help her to improve on her presentation, because she is in the public eyes. She is in a public position, and she have to learn how to communicate with the public on a level where she does not cause embarrassment to herself, on a level where she is easily understood by the people who she's communicating with. Right? So this is why I play that. Not to humiliate you. That is the last thing I want to do. Is to humiliate a sister. You understand? That is the last thing I would like to do. She's a fellow Vincent like me, and I know from looking at how she's doing, looking at her presentation, I know she's trying very hard. She's trying very hard. But what she needs to do, not to try very hard when she is in the act of making a presentation, but she must be practicing her diction every day, every minute of every day. So when she reach in the public eyes, she don't have to be practicing and focusing and trying so hard to make a presentation. And that is what our people have been missing out on. We have been missing out on taking the time out to practice and to improve ourselves so that we can be the best that we can be when we are asked to address members of the public and foreigners who are asked to sit down and listen to us make a presentation. That is all I want to say about that. If you know the senior nursing officer who is in charge of community affairs in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, just tell her, play this video for her. Let you see the start of the video where I play the audio recording of some of her blatant vocal errors that really make her songs as if she didn't have an education and if she didn't went to school. You understand? And that is my whole intention, to help her, not to pull her down. And from my research of this lady, it is said that she went to a school of higher learning, she went to a university, and she have to now start reflecting her learning in her oral presentation. You understand? You have to learn how to do that. Because education is nothing if you cannot apply it to your personal and daily life and enhance your life and the life of the people around you. If you are unable to do this with your education, then educations mean nothing. If you're going to hang out with me for the next couple of minutes, I'm not going to stay long today. I want to do this brief and get off of this because I have some writing to do. You understand? I have some writing I need to do because I need to present, file that case in the district court in Los Angeles before the middle of May, and I just have the last part of it to do now, which is the cause of action, to tell the court on what grounds I am suing these people based on my complaint and what are the charges I am suing them for. So that is the last part I have to do. And I will be doing that in a little while. You understand? Richard Ross and they have their voodoo people, hocus pocus people, trying to, they use voodoo for everything. If they don't want you to be vigilant on something, they use, I don't know how to do it, but they use voodoo for everything in California, right? So they've been using their, surround me with their voodoo hocus pocus people to try and get me to be lackadaisical and delinquent in my own interest where it concerns to swing these people. Now people, if you notice, in the caption of this live here, there is a link that marks death certificate. There is a link that marks death certificate. LAPD. Wicked, evil, dirty bastards. They are there to look out for the rights of and interests of white people, not for black people. You understand? Yes. If you look in the link there, if you're gonna help me share this video, if you look in the link there, you will see something marked death certificate. I want you to open that link when you get some time, right? And view those death certificates. They are the death certificate of Yvonne Advira Nanton, 80 years old, of yes. They are the death certificate of Yvonne Advira Nanton of Overland. Is Overland? You will correct it when you see it. And if you notice, on this death certificate, there's two death certificates. There's a death certificate that is issued by the attending physician, the physician who took care of Yvonne while she was sick, right? So therefore, he was the one who was responsible for her prognosis, for her diagnosis, and for her treatment. The physician, the one that is handwritten, is a physician that was responsible for taking care of Yvonne Advira Nanton while she was sick. He dealt with her prognosis, her diagnosis, her treatment, and her general care while she was sick. So therefore, he would be privileged to the exact cause of death of Yvonne Nanton. When Yvonne Nanton's relative went to register the death, right, and they get the death certificate, the death certificate says that Yvonne Nanton died from COVID-19 pulmonary thrombosis. And I will tell you how this don't make sense. Because I tell you, they think everyone is fools, but everyone are not foolish. Pulmonary thrombosis, all that means is that Yvonne Nanton died from a blood clot. A blood clot that was either in one of her pulmonary vein or pulmonary artery. Most likely, it will be a pulmonary artery because the artery have the highest level of blood flow. And therefore, if it is in an artery that leads to the lungs or the heart, it can cause death, right? Thrombosis is just a blood clot. I know a lot of people who have had thrombosis in their lifetime, and a lot of them always recover and survive. So all they're saying with this diagnosis is that Eva Nanton had thrombosis and her cause of death was pulmonary. Either there was a blockage in one of her pulmonary arteries. That's all it's saying. That is all it is saying, nothing else. So what the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is trying to tell people now, that COVID-19 virus is responsible for causing blood clot and thrombosis. Liars. Liars. Right? Even Nanton, attending physician, did not make any records of that lady having COVID-19. There was no record to say that she had COVID-19. And even if even Nanton had COVID-19, was laboratory confirmed COVID-19 positive, and she didn't get illness due to complication of COVID-19, her death cannot be ruled as a COVID-19 death. And this is simple. If Yvonne Nanton, and I'm not saying she is because she wasn't. So if a person have COVID-19 virus in the system and they are laboratory confirmed and they die tomorrow, they never had a flu, they never had a fever, but they die tomorrow. Did they die from COVID-19? No. COVID-19 is a flu virus. And if you did not get a flu, then you does not have COVID-19 illness. You only laboratory confirmed positive. And this is just the simple fact. This is just the simple fact. In New York City, everyone that died over a certain age, whether they were COVID-19 positive or not, were labeled to have died from COVID-19. Because they wanted the numbers to go up so that they can get, so that Cuomo could get federal dollars for COVID-19 relief. So it's not only small islands who's lying to get money for COVID-19. Even big states like New York City is trying to get federal dollars for COVID-19 relief because they have so much debt. Right? So the question we have to ask and answer here, those people who allegedly die from COVID-19, those 8 people, did they die from COVID-19? I know for sure. Justina Pompey did not die from COVID-19. Justina Pompey did not die from COVID-19. Justina Pompey had high blood pressure, she had diabetes, she had sickle cell anemia, she was always ill. Right? There is no record or evidence to say that Justina Pompey had flu prior to her death. There is no records, there is no evidence to say that any of these people came down with flu prior to their deaths. We have to remember the COVID-19 backed virus. The COVID-19 virus is a flu virus. It is in the air. Look at that old. He over there. I move from over there. He come here because he want to come close to interfere with my signal. You understand? He was way over there. I was next to the rail. I was next to the rail. I move away from the rail where I would have put up my, pin up my stand too. I come over here. He come closer. You understand? That is what happened with these homosexuals. They have to do what their master says. And that is a shame. You understand? So let us get back to the matter, fan. Let them do what they want to do. Let those nasty bullets do what they want to do. Yes. They detest me. They make me want to puke. So Justina Pompey did not die from COVID-19 because she never had a flu. All of these people who they are saying died from COVID-19 never had a flu. The COVID-19 virus infestation in their bodies was not in a quantity that was capable of getting them ill. That is just the reality of the situation. You understand? That is just the reality of the situation. But guess what they want to do? They want to prove Allan Palmer wrong. Right? And in proving me wrong, they are showing up their professionals to be incompetent. St. Vincent is supposed to be one of the countries in the entire world who have never had a death from COVID-19. We have never had in the history of recording of medical history of people, St. Vincent and the Grenadines have never experienced a flu death. Because our people are resilient to every flu virus. You understand? I am in the United States here. Since the COVID-19 pandemic came about, I have refused to comply with the mandates that will keep me safe because I know I cannot get COVID-19. You understand? I refuse to comply with those mandates because I know that I cannot get COVID-19. I don't wash my hands as they say I should wash my hands. I wash my hands when I use the toilet or when I'm doing something else that need my hand to wash. I don't use sanitizers and these things because I know on my hands there are some bacteria that needs to be there to protect me. You understand? I know that on my hands there are some bacteria that needs to be on my hands to protect me. So when I sanitize and sanitize and sanitize, I am destroying those bacteria. I am leaving myself vulnerable. People may not understand that, but go and ask your doctor. Right? There are bacteria and viruses and germs within our body that has to be there to protect us and keep us safe. You may not understand this, but it is a fact. So I know for sure that Vincentians should never die from COVID-19. But they are fabricating the records because one, they want to prove me wrong. Two, they are trying to get monies from donor countries and agencies because there's over $100+ million US out there waiting to be handed out to countries like St. Vincent and the Grenadines for COVID-19 relief. So they're fabricating the records. And they are putting these people in stress with their loved ones, claiming that their loved ones would have died from a disease that they never had. They are stressing out these people, claiming that their loved ones, that their friends and family relatives would have died from a disease that they did not have. This is a shame to see that we are governed by people who thinks that money, especially money that we don't deserve, money that we don't need, we should have it at all costs, even at cost at the integrity of our people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a shame. It's a shame. Ralph Gonsalves has spent up all his money, all the money he stole out of the treasury, all the kickbacks he get from the Musty company, all the kickbacks he get from Canawan, all the kickbacks he's been getting from all the contracts that he unlawfully tender out to Kelly Glass and all of these people, pushing out Bally's and Bally's because Bally's and Bally's don't share the same political perspective. He have raised it up in California, trying to be a big shot when he know he's a poor man who is scrounging off of his mother's deadlift and scrounging off of the money he steals from the treasury in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's a poor man. He's a poor hand-to-mouth man. But he coming in California playing big shot, giving the law library computers, a series of computers for the entire law library. And you know what happened? The state-of-the-art computer that he bought for the law library with the money that should be going into our health facility, with the money that should be going to create jobs. The computers in them, it did not even last a year. They start breaking down and malfunctioning. Things start breaking because the Most High is good. His mercies endured forever. When I was going to the Santa Monica Public Library, he came there like a big shot to buy the favors of the Santa Monica Public Library staff and managers to oppress and exploit me. He gave them a series of state-of-the-art printer that collates and staples. If you see the printers then, you understand? So now what he's trying to do, he's trying to get money to use Vincent as guinea pigs so he can continue to pay Richard Ross. He can't stop my destiny. Listen to this. Listen to this. And tell me if this does not sound. Tell me if this does not sound like.
Normally in St. Vincent and the Grenadines we have.
Tell me if this does not sound like a test that is going on. Hey, what's going on, my brother? All right. Tell me if this doesn't sound like a test that is going on, and they want to get information to qualify the tests, right? The experiment. Listen to this.
Normally in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have a form that if there is an adverse reaction, that we will fill it out, and COVID is no exception. The anywhere people go to a window is letting the nation, our people, go to a vacation, you can get an adverse reaction. Normally in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have a form that if there is an adverse reaction, that we will fill it out, and COVID is no exception.
Let me tell you something, right, people? The system of nursing and the system of being a doctor and keeping records is clear. A nurse in a facility, whether it's public or private, have to keep records as to allergic reaction, to what medication and so forth. They need to keep these records for statistical purpose for their office, and they need to keep these records for the general statistics of just keeping the records so that we can know how a medication affected a person. Right? But these are statistics that are kept not for research purposes for another company. But what this lady is talking about here is compiling statistics, special forms that are used to monitor the effects the COVID-19 vaccine has on people who took it. Why? Because they are compiling the information, because the fact that Johnson's and Johnson's and all of these other big pharmaceutical have seen it fit to force all of their vaccines to St. Vincent and the Grenadines is because there is a full-scale experiment that is going on in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Vincentians are participating in this experiment without any financial benefit for them. Let me tell you something happened. Ralph Gonsalves is going to get all the money from this experiment. He's going to keep it for himself. Let me tell you how this thing works in this outside world here. A new company come up with a drug. They decide who they are targeting for these drugs, the age group, the illness categories, etc., etc., etc. When they determine who they are targeting for this drug, right? What they normally do, they normally put advertisements in the papers, the newspapers, on their websites for people to come in to try a new drugs. This is what they normally do. They normally pay you fairly good to participate in this trial. They keep you under 24 hours medical surveillance. If the testing of the drug requires that, because sometimes they don't know exactly how the drug is going to impact the body of the people who are given the drugs, right? They feed you, they give you some place to sleep, they ensure that you are properly supervised medically with doctors and nurses on hand, and they pay you to participate in the study. They monitor you everything. So what is happening in St. Vincent and Grenadines? They do not provide none of the facility that will ensure that test subjects are safe while they participate in this medical trial. None of the facilities are provided, right? No one is getting paid to participate in this trial, in this medical trial, this drug testing trial that they have it, because that's what they call it. Let me tell you something. In California here, there are people who make a lot of money by going and participate in these trials. Sometimes you will hear a trial going for 3 weeks, right? And you get $3,000 at the end of the 3 weeks trial. They put you up in a place, they give you a place to sleep, food to eat, medical supervision, they check your temperature and blood pressure and so forth ever so often. And when you finish with that 3 weeks trial, you're coming out with about $4,000 in your pocket. They don't want to do that in this case. And you know what? They are not even going to give Ralph Gonsalves the kind of money that a fraction of the money that they would have spent in California to do some kind of trial like that. He's going to get a couple $100,000, I think he think, right? But here, each person will get about $3,500, $4,000 to participate in a 3 weeks trials. I remember when I just came here and I was broke. My friend Jerry Larsey Palmer, there's a trial coming up, let us go and do the trial. Unfortunately, I didn't go and do it because I don't want to be a guinea pig for nobody, not even if you pay me to be a guinea pig. I could have gotten a cool $3,500 in my pocket for doing a simple trial. All they were going to do is give you the pills on a regular basis, check your blood pressure, check your temperature, check your pulse rate, check your vital signs, in other words. That's all they were going to do. And they keep you there in this facility. You have cable, you have everything that you could just relax. Food, everything is provided for you. You don't have to worry. And when you leave that place after 3 weeks, you're leaving with $3,500 or $4,000, depending on the study. You understand? So now Ralph Gonsalves is going to collect all of these money, keep it for himself, to pay Richard Ross, to pay the minion here in California. And this is just the simple fact. I am not speaking about nothing that I don't know. If you go on to these websites, you can find the studies. They have places where you can go and donate plasma. How they get the plasma, I don't know. There are places where you can go and donate blood. Red blood cells only they want. And they isolate the red blood cells from the plasma and everything else. I don't know how they do it. There are places where you go and donate plasma. And they isolate, I don't know how they isolate the plasma from the red blood cells and the platelets and all, but all they want is plasma. And when you go, they give you good money for them thing. You understand? I can't afford to go that. Because like how Ralph Gonsalves had the 2 doctors in Santa Monica, UCLA Medical Center, tried to murder me, they would have given me some nasty pills in those studies, and I would have been dead. You understand? Sense make before book. So here we see that from the horse's mouth, the lady is telling you that they have special forms for COVID-19 tests, where if you receive any adverse effects, they are going to make notation of who had these effects and what the effects were and so forth. That is because you are involved in a study, and when you take the medication, they only want information from you if you get some adverse effects. They didn't tell you to go to listen to the instructions. They didn't tell you to go to the emergency room immediately. No instruction about that. You having adverse effects. They didn't tell you to go to the emergency room or anything like that. No, nothing like that. You understand? And I don't know, I don't understand. I don't understand people. I don't understand my people. I do not understand. Well, Ralph Gonsalves. Anyway, he white. That's what white people do. They take advantage of black people. That's what they always do. That's what they have always done. That they will always continue to do. Right? Everybody takes advantage of white people, of black people. Everyone takes advantage of black people. Everyone, Mexicans, everyone, for some reason or the other. We seems to be the whipping tip of the world. Everybody must get rich off of us. Everybody getting rich off of us. Now the crooked Prime Minister and Vincent Grenadines have deceived these people into, and you know what is strange? The opposition leader is now a part of a island-wide COVID-19 research, vaccine research. Other people are now a part of this vaccine research, and they're not going to be compensated for it, under the guise that the COVID-19 vaccine is safe. It's not safe. It's not safe. They don't know if your children are going to become autistic. They don't know nothing about how it's going to affect you in the long run. Right? They said they did some tests. All the tests was to ensure that they could inject it with you and you don't die. That's all it was testing. Side effects and so forth, they don't know. Question. If you take the COVID-19, do you still have to wear a mask? It's a vaccine. Why do you still have to wear a mask? Because you can still become infected with the COVID-19 virus. If you take the COVID-19 vaccine, can you spread COVID-19 to another person? Yes, that's why they still encourage you to wear a mask. If you take the COVID-19 vaccine, would you get sick? Yes, you can still get sick from COVID-19. That is why they still encourage you to take a mask. So if this vaccine is supposed to be a preventative measure to protect you, how come it does not protect you? It does not protect the people around you. So is it really a vaccine? Or is it a joke? Is it really a vaccine or is it a joke? Tell me what it is. Anybody know? Anybody know what this is? Is it a vaccine or is it a joke? I think it's a joke. I will never take this vaccine because I will never get sick. And as I told you before, check the birth certificate on this link and ask the people at the registry who gave them the authority to add to a death certificate information other than that which the attending physician write on the original declaration of death. Who gave those people at the registry the authority to determine who had COVID-19? If the doctor, the attendant for this physician who took care of them in their illness, who took care of them, who prognosed, diagnosed, treated, the patients. Who gave the people at the registry to add on COVID-19 and X amount of death certificate when the people never got a flu? People, let me tell you something, right? The truth is, COVID-19 is here, the virus is here, it's in all of us. It may not be in all of us in a number that will show up on the COVID-19 test, but all of us have it. We do not have COVID-19 unless we get a flu. When we get a flu, we know that we are sick. And be careful, because we may get a flu that is caused by another virus, and the COVID-19 virus is still present in us. Because we have to remember, these viruses don't take a day off. They don't take a weekend off. Whether influenza B1, influenza B2, all of these viruses are still in the air, right? So the fact that you get a flu doesn't mean that it's COVID-19. But that's what they're doing. They're labeling every flu as COVID-19. And this is only to frighten you, to scare you into taking the nasty vaccine, so that these stinking white people who think they are too important. I ain't risking my life for black people. Let black people risk their life for me. They have a God in heaven who loves them and can protect them. We don't have a God who loves us that can protect us. That's what the white people say. You understand? That's why they have been experimenting with black people. The Tuskegee experiment, inject syphilis virus in black sharecroppers. Watch them die. Rubella, mumps vaccine, all of those are vaccines that affects the minds of black people. If you notice, they don't give white people rubella and mumps vaccine. Why? Why they don't give white people rubella and mumps vaccine? They can't get mumps? Because mumps and rubella and these things are exported to countries like St. Vincent and Grenadines, to the ports, to the airport, the seaport, and sometimes when they send the medication is infected because they want a breakout, so that they can come and inject our people with mumps and rubella vaccine, and it affects our ability to learn because we are so brilliant. They can't touch us. Natasha, you're late. I will spank you when I see you. Put you over my knee and I will spank you on your butt. Next thing your husband come and shoot me. Yeah. Mumps and rubella vaccine and all of these vaccines that they send to the Caribbean and say you have to take it before you go to school. If you notice, the Graves, the Grenadines, and all of those people in St. Vincent and Grenadines, they don't take mumps and rubella vaccine. They don't take it because they have to excel above the blacks. There are too many blacks. You understand? They don't take mumps and rubella vaccine. Not at all. White people know. When you go into a university, they tell you have to take all of these vaccines because they're coming from a third world country, because they don't want you to excel in the universities. So they know this vaccine by their nature and their design is really to affect the mental capacity for learning of black people. You understand? It's simple. This thing is simple. That's why they export mumps and rubella vaccines all over the world. Black countries. You understand? Black countries, mumps and rubella vaccine. Give them, let them take it. We want to affect our minds. Our capacity and our ability to learn information and retain information. That is what those vaccines does. You understand? So when you see all the little children with autistic and all these things, it's the flu vaccine. You have to remember these people, these nasty, white, stinking, dirty white people. They make two sets of vaccine. One for the white community, one for the black community. Two sets of food product. One for the white community, one for the black community. The food products and so forth for the black community is filled up with all kind of carcinogens, cancer-causing agents, kidney problem agents to make you sick. This is just how they work. Because it is their express and intent desire to ensure that black people remain sick, depressed, and dependent on them. It is just a simple fact. So when you see they export all of these vaccines to the Caribbean, mumps vaccine, rubella vaccine, and they put stipulation that if you want a child to come to school, into the school system, they must have the mumps and rubella vaccine because they want to ensure that our black children in the Caribbean and in Africa have complication in learning simple theories, simple practical subjects. It is all a white plan to ensure that they who are not very smart appear to be much smarter and wiser and brighter than black people. Believe me if you want to believe me. Don't believe me if you don't want to believe me. People, my name is Allan Palmer, St. Vincent Grenadines' favorite and most hated son, the diaspora of machismo, thanking the Most High for giving me the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, and for giving me the opportunity to share this knowledge, understanding, and wisdom with the people who I love the most. Vincent. People, I gone. If you come late, like Natasha, go and watch over the video. I'm out.